Today's lesson is Amanda Seyfried, More Than Just a Pretty Face. Hi everyone, I'm Mike.
And I'm Candice.
And today we are talking about an up-and-coming young Hollywood actress who I bet most people out there have seen in something. She's been in a lot of movie films that you'd see in the theater, and a real variety of movies that she's been in as well. She's had a few television roles that I think have gotten a lot of attention, especially recently. Are you a fan of Amanda Seyfried?
Well, I've seen her in a lot of things, and I think she's a very good actress. I can't say that I'm a great fan, but I do enjoy her performances. I still remember her breakout role in Mean Girls, and that was really funny.
That's another movie that's on my must-see list, and it's been on there for a long time, so I really have to get around to seeing Mean Girls. I think a lot of young actresses, or a lot of young talent came out of that film, so that's definitely one to track down if you want to see the beginning of Amanda Seyfried's career, and of course there's been a lot more recently, and I'm always impressed at the variety of the film she's in. She's really done a lot of different kind of stuff. So let's find out more about her as we read the first part of our article about Amanda Seyfried, More Than Just a Pretty Face. Amanda Seyfried, More Than Just a Pretty Face. Since her breakout role in Mean Girls, Amanda Seyfried has charmed audiences in dozens of films. However, her recent role in the hit series The Dropout is taking her career to another level. All right, we are back. So yeah, let's find out more about Amanda Seyfried and see why she is clearly more than just a pretty face. So the first sentence gives us a really good background. It says, since her breakout role in Mean Girls, Amanda Seyfried has charmed audiences in dozens of films. Wow, I really have to start catching up on her films. A breakout role is probably the one, maybe not the first film that she was in, but the first one that got her a lot of public attention, a lot of critical attention. A lot of people who saw the film would say, oh, and this actress, Amanda Seyfried, she was really good. She's been in other stuff before, maybe when she was even a teenager, but this is the one that really caught the world's attention, and obviously it charmed audiences.
Yes, as I said, I enjoyed her breakout role in Mean Girls. There she was very, the word in the article is ditzy, but she played a very light-hearted role. It wasn't a serious film. There were some serious themes, but it was a light-hearted movie with lots of themes that I think teenagers at the time could identify with. Probably anyone who's been in America and high school in America could identify with the heroine and her trying to fit in with the cool kids. And Amanda Seyfried was one of the cool kids at the time. They were called the Plastics.
Okay.
Right. So the article goes on to say, however, her recent role in the hit series The Dropout is taking her career to another level. Even though she's been around for a while and she has had a lot of critical acclaim, in other words, she's had a lot of accolades, people have praised her performances, this role in The Dropout is once again raising her profile. People are really talking about her performance. They're saying that she's doing an amazing job. It's taking her career to another level because I think it's a more mature role. She's also gotten older as we've watched her on screen, and her performances have matured too.
Interesting. And like a lot of big Hollywood actors now, she's transitioned from films. That's, of course, Mean Girls was her breakout role. That was a movie or a film. And now she's appearing on television on Netflix, and that's why we call it a hit series. A series, of course, being television programs that kind of run as a long, continuous story over several weeks and over several episodes. So you can catch her on television in her latest stuff. You don't even have to head out to the movie theater. We'll find out more about her personal life and her background in our next paragraph. So let's listen to that now. Born and raised in Allentown, Pennsylvania, Seyfried began modeling when she was 11 years old. As a teenager, she took vocal lessons and studied opera, and by 15, she'd landed her first significant acting role on the soap opera As the World Turns. Her big break came soon after with the movie Mean Girls, in which she played the ditzy blonde Karen Smith. The role remains one of her most iconic, but the actress worked hard to avoid becoming known as just a pretty face.
大家好，第二部分我们看到单字 iconic 这个字是形容词，它的意思是代表性的或是非常受欢迎的，像是 The McDonald's logo is one of the most iconic brand symbols of the last few decades. 麦当劳的标志是近几十年来最具代表性的品牌象征之一。另外补充这个字的名词 icon I-C-O-N icon 指代表人物或是偶像，例如Lady Gaga has become a pop culture icon. 女神卡卡已成为大众文化的代表人物。也可以说 Bands like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones are icons of the music industry. 披头士乐团和滚石乐团是音乐界的偶像。
Okay, we are back. So yeah, that's a little bit of the biography of Amanda Seyfried's early life, especially. And then we really get into the beginning of her life and where she was born. It says, born and raised in Allentown, Pennsylvania, Seyfried began modeling when she was 11 years old. Okay, so sounds like she comes from a pretty modest background. They lived in Allentown, Pennsylvania. That's a real factory town, a real blue-collar town. A lot of average working folks there. But she already stood out. She was modeling when she was 11 years old. Obviously a pretty young girl. She got a job working as a model at a young age. And then as she got older, it says as a teenager, she took vocal lessons and studied opera. Wow. And by 15, she landed her first significant acting role on the soap opera As the World Turns. I think she was bitten by the show business bug at a very young age. She was a model when she was young. Then she took vocal lessons. When we say vocal lessons, we could say singing lessons, because that's basically what we're talking about here. Vocal is the use of the voice. You'll notice some of the letters are very similar. Vocal lessons, yeah, would generally make people think of singing lessons, but you know, if you're going to be an actor, you want to have a nice speaking voice. You might want to have kind of a powerful speaking voice, even if you're a young girl, because you might want to perform in theaters and things like that. So it's knowing how to use your voice and use it well and keep it healthy too, because of course, if you're singing opera or anything like that professionally on the stage, you're going to work out your voice a lot in every performance. And opera is probably one of the best vocal workouts you could imagine.
Yes, and I think she must have had a lot of talent. And I was quite surprised to hear that she had studied opera, because opera is quite a challenging form of singing. You have to have very strong vocal control, and you have to have performance skills. So it really encompasses quite a lot, because opera is a huge production and you need to use your voice, you need to use acting skills. And of course, at a young age, she was involved in this dramatic form of acting. And then, of course, when she was 15, it says she landed her first significant acting role on the soap opera As the World Turns. So when you land something, it's quite an achievement to land something. She must have wanted it. A lot of people probably wanted to get that role, but she landed it. And it was a significant part on the soap opera As the World Turns. Now, I'm not sure if you're all familiar with soap operas, but they're usually daily television shows, and the word opera would suggest that it's quite a dramatic medium. The soap operas that I know are usually characterized by a lot of overacting and thin storylines. The story is not really that important, but there's a lot of drama and there are lots of twists and turns in the story, and people watch it on a daily basis or on quite a regular basis to see what's going to happen next. And the reason they're called soap operas, I think, I watched a documentary quite a while ago, is that these TV shows used to be sponsored by detergent companies. So they used to run advertisements for soap powder and different detergents. And so eventually they commonly became known as soap operas.
That's right. They were kind of dramatic, romantic stories of people falling in love and cheating with each other. And they were put on in the afternoon when housewives, back in the old days, days, housewives stayed home cleaning the house, watching the soap opera. So, of course, they advertised things that housewives might buy, things like cleaning products. But, of course, these days, everyone watches soap operas, and they can be on at any time of the day, really. A lot of people love them. We should point out here that the other opera that she studied, that's more like Puccini and Pavarotti and Placido Domingo, those big singing voices singing O Sole Mio. That's that kind of Italian, French, German opera. Soap operas were invented in America. It's a sort of romantic, dramatic television show. It's completely different. It's the drama and the emotion of the performance. That's why we kind of call it an opera there. And then it says her big break came soon after with the movie Mean Girls, right, in which she played the ditzy blonde Karen Smith. Okay, so there's the movie we talked about. She was a blonde in the movie, a ditzy blonde. Well, if someone's blonde, that just means their hair is yellow, right? It's kind of strange. We say brown hair, red hair, black hair, but we don't say yellow hair. We say blonde hair. And if a person has blonde hair, we can describe them as being blonde. Ditzy is kind of silly, not the most intelligent girl, you know. She's kind of blonde and pretty, but not a lot else going on, I guess you could kind of say with her character. And we often see blonde characters especially portrayed in this way in films and stuff. They're a little bit silly, not quite the most intelligent, but always kind of fun and friendly.
Usually you don't want to be a ditzy blonde, but the character Karen Smith didn't realize that she was being ditzy. She was just being herself.
Oh my God. She would probably talk like that a lot. And then it says the role remains one of her most iconic. We are still talking about it now. That movie probably came out 15, 20 years ago now.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Been a while.
I was a teenager.
Yeah, there you go. So it remains one of her most iconic, but the actress worked hard to avoid becoming known as just a pretty face. Yeah, it's true. If you always play the ditzy blonde in Hollywood, then people might think you are actually a ditzy blonde like Marilyn Monroe, even though she was actually a very intelligent woman and a very good actress. But there is a problem with becoming too iconic in a certain role. If you're iconic, you're an icon, you're a hero, people look up to you. But in some ways in Hollywood, it can be a curse. You always play Superman, and then you take off the Superman costume. Everyone looks at you as a businessman and says, yeah, but you're just Superman. It's a little too iconic to play some of these big parts like James Bond or Superman, because they are icons, they are heroes, but in some ways they're sort of stuck in time. They can't really be flexible as an actor and do something totally different. But it is the ones that we're talking about, so one of the ones we remember from her early career. And so for Amanda Seyfried, that role in Mean Girls was definitely iconic. Let's take a break, and then we'll come back after we listen to the third and final part of the article. To ensure a long-lasting career, Seyfried chose diverse roles for herself. After Mean Girls, she joined the HBO series Big Love, playing the rebellious daughter of polygamists. In 2008, she starred in the musical film Mamma Mia, alongside megastars like Meryl Streep and Pierce Brosnan. She subsequently played Cosette in Les Miserables, which earned her praise from critics. More recently, Seyfried appeared in the Netflix film Mank, delivering a marvelous performance that resulted in her first Oscar nomination.
"第三部分我们看到形容词 diverse， 指不同的、各式各样的或是多元化的。举例来说 ，Anna's shelves held a diverse collection of books. Anna 的书柜收藏了各种不同类型的书。或者 The international school has a diverse faculty with instructors coming from several different countries. 这所国际学校有多元化的教职员，教师来自好几个不同的国家。另外补充这个字的名词 diversity。diversity diversity 表示多样性或是多元性，像是 Rainforests are known for having impressive diversity in plants and animals. 众所皆知，雨林有令人印象深刻的动植物多样性。也可以说 We publish articles that represent a diversity of opinions. 我们发表各种多元观点的文章。接着我们看到单字 rebellious， 这个字是形容词，指叛逆的或是反叛的。例如 Tina's son is often rebellious towards authority figures. 面对权威人物 ，Tina 的儿子常常表现叛逆。或是 William is a rebellious young man who often gets into trouble. William 是一个经常惹麻烦的反叛青年。另外补充这个字的名词 rebel， rebel rebel 指叛逆者、反抗者或是造反者，像是 Though Stephen acts like a rebel at times, he always gets good grades. 虽然 Stephen 有时表现得叛逆，但他总是拿到好成绩。或是 Tom was a rebel growing up, and he always did what he wanted to do. Tom 从小就是个叛逆的人，他总是做他想做的事情。最后我们看到名词 nomination， 这个字的意思是提名。举例来说 Eva's novel earned her a nomination for Best Young Author. Eva 的小说为她赢得了最佳年轻作家的提名。也可以说 Desmond really deserves the nomination for class president, so I'm going to give him my vote. Desmond 真的配得上班长提名，所以我要投他一票。另外补充这个字的动词 nominate, N-O-M-I-N-A-T-E nominate 指提名或是指定。例如 Jeff's teammates nominated him to be their captain. Jeff 的队友提名他当队长。或是 Kevin's boss nominated him to head the party planning committee. Kevin 的老板指定他当派对策划小组的组长。
To ensure a long-lasting career, Seyfried chose diverse roles for herself. So, as you say, Mike, she diversified. She didn't get pigeonholed. She tried more challenging roles. So, while she took on light-hearted performances, she also took on more serious roles. And she also got cast alongside some very talented and experienced actors, which also, of course, raised her profile and is also a testament to the fact that she has some really amazing talent, because she wouldn't be cast with these heavy hitters, with these mega stars, if she didn't have amazing talent herself. So by diversifying, by choosing diverse roles, she really is cementing herself as an amazing actress in Hollywood.
Absolutely. Yeah, diverse just means lots of options, lots of choices, lots of variety. People like going to those big buffets in hotels because there's a diverse amount of food. You can have sushi or pizza or Chinese food, Mexican food. It's very diverse. It's very wide-ranging. And that's what she did. After Mean Girls, she joined the HBO series Big Love, playing the rebellious daughter of polygamists. Interesting. So I remember that show on HBO. I think it was about a family from Utah, or a family from the Mormon faith. And in this family, they were polygamists. That means there was one husband and several wives in this family. I believe the husband was played by the late Bill Paxton, who, as you say, was a great actor. And I think some of the other people, some of his wives also were some well-known actresses. And she played the daughter in this family, but she was the rebellious daughter. That means she doesn't like to follow the rules. She doesn't want to live the life her parents have sort of planned for her. The kind of kid who goes out and gets nose piercings and tattoos and stays out late and breaks all the rules or something like that. So she was obviously a different, not your typical conservative child that they might have wanted. So that would have been an interesting dramatic challenge for her. And then in 2008, she starred in the musical film Mamma Mia alongside megastars like Meryl Streep and Pierce Brosnan and many more. And that movie, I think it's safe to say, was a pretty big hit.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the movie. And of course, she was starring alongside. So she didn't have a minor role. Alongside would imply that she had almost an equal role. I think she played the daughter in Mamma Mia.
Right, the one getting married, yeah.
Yeah, she was getting married. And to be on the same level as Meryl Streep and Pierce Brosnan, who have a really impressive resume, is really a testament to her ability to hold her own, to actually take on the challenge of such a big role. So she was given quite a large role in this movie. And it was a musical. Mamma Mia is a musical. So there was a lot of singing and there was a lot of dancing. And it was also quite a lot of light-hearted fare.
And there, notice there we called Meryl Streep and Pierce Brosnan megastars. We could also call them superstars. We're just saying they're really, really famous people. Megastars, superstars. You get the idea. And then after Mamma Mia, Mia, she subsequently played Cosette in Les Miserables, which earned her praise from critics. So obviously those vocal lessons back when she was a kid paid off. She had 2 big parts in 2 very successful musicals, singing in Mamma Mia, and then Miserables, singing much more sort of Broadway theatrical style, but all of that would be no problem for her. This happened right after. We know that because we use that adverb subsequently. If something happens subsequently to another thing, that means it happened afterwards, or maybe even as a result of, but certainly later in time. So Mamma Mia, subsequently Les Miserables. Mamma Mia first, Les Mis second. And critics loved it. The critics are the people who get paid to kind of review movies. They might be experts in movies, know a lot about movie making and movie history and that kind of thing. And, websites and newspapers will pay them to see the movie and then give their opinion of it. Is it good? Is it bad? What they liked? What they didn't like? And for certain people who don't want to see all the movies, the critics can be very useful. They will write a review. So we will read the review and decide whether it's worth our time and money to see this movie, if it's good or not. We'll find critics for lots of things that people will have different opinions on: movies, television, music, restaurants, holiday destinations, things like that. And of course, with social media today, you yourself can be a critic if you write a review. And then, after Les Miserables, it seems she took a bit of time off or decided to work on something with maybe a slower production pace. She moved to Netflix.
Yeah, more recently, Seyfried appeared in the Netflix film Mank, delivering a marvelous performance that resulted in her first Oscar nomination.
Wow.
So that is quite an achievement. The Oscar is the highest award that you can get in the movie business in America. And for a Netflix film, that is also an achievement because usually movies were made by these big studios, and it's only in recent years that these online streaming platforms have been making such huge movies that have been getting critical acclaim. So the critics obviously loved her role in Mank, and she got her first Oscar nomination. Now, if you get a nomination, it means your name gets put on a list with your peers, people who have also starred in movies and in similar roles to yourself. Then you are shortlisted to receive an award. So she was nominated. A nomination in itself is not winning the award. However, it is quite an honor to receive a nomination.
And we've reached the end of our article for today. So let's go over and listen to our Chinese teacher right now.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第2部分有一句写到 Her big break came soon after with the movie Mean Girls。 演出电影辣妹过招 Mean Girls 之后，她的大好机会就来了。那文中的 big break 不是大休息哦， break 在这边是当名词，是指机会、好运。那么 big break 意思就是大好机会，引申表达时来运转、重大转机的意思。好，那接着我们就看到啦，课文在 Mean Girls 后面接的是逗号 in which she played the ditzy blonde Karen Smith。 那其中的 which 是用来代指前方的 Mean Girls， 而这样的关系子句就是在补充说明，在 Mean Girls 这部电影当中 Amanda Seyfried 饰演傻里傻气的金发女郎 Karen Smith。 好，那其实这个关系子句呢，你也可以把它写作which she played the ditzy blonde Karen Smith in， 只是这个句尾的介系词常常会被移到关系代名词的前面，所以我们才会看到它写作 in which 点点点的写法。好，那这边我们就来学习相关的用法哦。关系代名词呢，它有分为主格、受格、所有格3种，而受格关系代名词呢，就是当受词用，它的基本句型结构会是先行词加上受格关系代名词 whom、which 或是 that， 再加主词，再加动词。好，当先行词是人的时候呢，我们可以用 whom 或是 that 来代指，而在口语用法当中，你也可以用 who。当先行词是动物或是事物的时候，我们可以用 which 或是 that 来代指。好，那我们看到刚刚这个基本句型结构当中，受格关系代名词其实常常省略不用。举例来说 The book which you lent me yesterday is interesting. 你昨天借我的那本书很有趣。那这时候 the book which you lent me yesterday 你也可以说成 the book that you lent me yesterday 或者是 the book You lent me yesterday. 所以这时候 which 就可以用 that 来替换，或者是干脆就省略了。好，那接着呢，如果我们刚刚说这个基本句型结构当中，关系子句里面是有介系词的，而且呢，关系代名词扮演的是那个介系词的受词，我们就可以把介系词移到关系代名词前面。可是要注意哦，这时候关系代名词它就不能省略了，而且不能用 that 或者是用 who。我们来看它的句型就变成先行词加上介系词加上受格关系代名词 whom 或是 which 再加主词加动词。那这样的句型是比较正式的用法，它可以适用于限定用法或是非限定用法。像课文呢，它就是非限定用法，我们看到它有用逗号把关系子句隔开，那关系子句是做补充说明用。接着我们来看看限定用法的例子，举例来说 The girl that I chatted with yesterday is Tom's sister 或者是 The girl whom I chatted with yesterday is Tom's sister 这边的 that 或是 whom 也可以省略。昨天跟我聊天的那个女孩呢是 Tom 的妹妹，可是现在如果我要把关系子句当中的 with 这个介系词移到关系代名词前面，那就只能写作The girl with whom I chatted yesterday is Tom's sister. Whom 是不能省略的，而且也不能用 who 或是 that 去取代。好，那么以上是今天重点整理，我们回顾今天的单字吧。
Vocal. The band scheduled a time to practice their vocal harmonies. Opera. As soon as the opera ended, the audience stood and clapped loudly. Diverse.The restaurant offers a diverse range of dishes. Alongside. Working alongside the doctor, the young nurse learned a lot about medicine. Subsequently. Emilia quit her job and subsequently went back to college. Critic. Despite its big budget, the film was disliked by critics due to its many faults. Nomination. The book earned nominations for a number of major literary awards.Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of our program, and please make sure you join us again next time. From all of us here, I am Mike.
I'm Candice.
See you next time.